Welcome to part... What part am I, Jen? I don't even know anymore. Like part 5? Part 4? 3? 4, 5, 6? I think we're in part... 6? I think we're in part 6. So we're going to be talking about Anniversary Servant Olga Murray, and Ascension 3rd is a what if. So, the interviewer specifically asks, can you give us a setting reasons and why Olga Murray was chosen as an anniversary? So, Nasu answers, it says, where else will we put her out? Isn't it not this year and nowhere else? It says we did our very best in order for this servant to come out. We did our very best up till now, right? It says ここ以外ありえないでしょう。このサーベントを出すために今まで頑張ってきたと言っても過言ではないので。Nasu is saying that she needed to come out in the 10th anniversary. We practically played FGO to practically see Olga Murray to become servant. And that's why we worked so hard to this point, to an extent, you can even say. Takeuchi goes, every anniversary servant, we always think hard for it for certain. Right? 周年サーバントはいつもすごく悩んでます。チーム内で喧嘩とか論議するのですが、今回は10年だからこそ選択はあまり多くありませんでした。It says here, every anniversary servant, we always come to, bicker, fight, and have an entire meetings and discussions. But because this was the 10th year, there was not a lot of options to come forward to. It says, by the way, we had another candidate in mind, but after a lot of checkups and possibilities, we came to the conclusion that having Olga Murray would be the better result. From Nasu's word, Nasu said she's going to be involved in the final chapter, so whether we give her before or after, I'm still thinking, was the conversation we had beforehand. At the moment, there was a time where we decided to give her after, but in the very end, we came to the conclusion and a decision that we should give Olga as an anniversary servant before the final chapter. It says, Nasu continues saying, both have their merits and their demerits. If we put him the after, everybody would be happy, but the final chapter is already over. And if we were to put her before the final chapter, even though while we're continuing forward, it'd still be wrapped in mystery. But by giving her forward, the details of the final chapters will most likely be shown, and people who get it will probably get it, is the problematic that we kind of had. And so the interviewer goes, will we get any more Beast? So, yeah, the interviewer specifically asks, hey, Mr. Nasu, are we going to get any more Beast anytime soon? Right, and Nasu specifically says, I specifically stated, right? ビーストは凡人類から出さないと、こうした以上は It says, yeah, I specifically told you that in proper human history, right? It's like I publicly announced pan-human, right? Pan-human history / proper human history. Beast ain't coming out. I've said it publicly. But but yeah, people might say I'm misdirecting people. ビーストは凡人類から出さないよってこう言ってした以上はただキノコそれは方向演授じゃと突っ込まれてしまうかも。So yeah, it's essentially Nasu wanted to answer it the same way he did 2-3 years ago, I think it was. But he already knows that it's a misdirection, right? Because technically, to this day, only pan-human history / proper human history, Beast is Draco. Because Beast Ereshkigal doesn't count, and Unbeast certainly doesn't count. And she is technically the Beast of FGO and not the proper human history. And so Nasu's just like, maybe Beast, but no proper human history Beast, okay? AKA pan-human history Beast. It says, okay, can you tell us more about the class name? And Nasu goes, this is Unbeast. Yes. Unbeast is a beast class that's not a beast. We had an idea says we can make a president class. That was definitely part of the criteria. But after further discussion, we honestly came to the idea that Unbeast was the better option. Yeah, 便利ですな。Right? So Nasu doesn't want to talk about the beast because, he's conveniently twisting his words right there. And then simultaneously, the reason why it's called Unbeast is because it's a beast that's not a beast. She is a beast, but she is a class that's not a beast. First, the idea of being a president class was a thing, but we just straight up honestly went Unbeast. And then Takeuchi says, yes, very convenient. And then the interviewer asked, what about the class score for the Unbeast? 本来はこの子にクラススコアは存在しないのですが、ある技を使われるようになります。It says, in actuality, the girl, right, the beast and the unbeast will not have a class score prepared for them. But using a backdoor technique, but yeah, utilizing the back door, you can do it. For those people who stick by on that stupid 4 scenarios, you would open up a path to the Unbeast. It says, if you pulled Olga and have not pulled the stupid quest, right? The stupid scenario, aka the Olga Murray quest, right? I highly recommend you immediately go clear it. It'll benefit you very soon. Beast が特別な存在であることは FGO が始まった時から那須さんがずっと言ってきたことでもあります。なんなら副召喚にも含めません。オンラインの召喚ではないということは厳したる毅然のルールですからね。グランドサーバントとはビーストと戦うためにあるものですから。グランドビーストは存在しないので、もうアンビーストにするしかない。So, yeah, it's essentially Takeuchi says Beast is a very special existence that has been set in stone ever since the beginning of FGO. Nasu has constantly stated as such. It was so important and special that we came to the conclusion that we didn't add during GSSR. It is a character that normally you cannot summon. Yeah, that was kind of the ironclad rule at the moment. Right? It was the strict rule, right? Strict rule back in the day, El Clasica. Because after all, grand servants are created in order to fight a beast, after all. And then Nasu said, since there is no grand beast, our only option was to make her unbeast. And Nasu then the interviewer goes, are you saying that if you make an unbeast, you can choose them as a grand servant? And then Nasu elaborates, saying, adding the unbeast into the class score. And in order to make a beast turn into unbeasts, it requires you to have the 4-piece of the U Olga medal. And by combining the 4-piece together to get the presidential medal, in order to make that happen. So in order to grand Sodom Beast Draco or Space Ereshkigal to the grand status, you're gonna need the power of this medal to add them into the class score and change their class name specifically. That's the whole gimmick. So it's essentially, if you have the Olga piece, you can make a beast into an unbeast. Olga Murray just came in already as unbeast, which already tells you funny things. So the logical thought process that Nasu has is that using the the presidential medal, you can turn a beast into unbeast and add them into the beast class score, aka make them your grand, right? Quote unquote. It says, can we get the design? Yeah, can we talk about Olga's design now that you've explained the coin gimmick? Takeuchi specifically says it has to do with a summer event. 夏のイベントにも関連しているので、第一はご令状というある白いワンピースのようなデザインにしました。It says because it has to involve in a summer event, right? So already confirms here that Olga Murray will participate in a summer event. She's not a summer servant, but she will participate in a summer event. It says we come to the idea that the first ascension was going to be a princess, right? Princess slash what's the word? Ladylike. I think that's the word, right? Jore, you know, the Reijokan. Reijokan is like high class lady, right? High class lady, very fancy, and utilizing her white one piece as her design cover. 遊園地に来たお嬢様みたいなイメージですね。So it's essentially Nasu trajectory says that she's like in the summer resort, right? She's kind of in the summer resort, summer retreat area. Princess, a very refined lady in a summer resort. That was the image we went for. Ascension 2 was definitely tilted towards Yu Olga Murray. Takeuchi says elements, aka the 4 different elements of Olga Murray, had a lot of screen time and impact. So I knew that I had to change her second ascension a little bit, or else the freshness would be lacking. So during the designing of the second ascension, I did tweak things here and there. And we knew that the fan desired not just you, Olga Murray, but OG Olga Murray as well. And so the third ascension was essentially drawn specifically thinking for Olga Murray. The third ascension, Olga Murray's first few FGO's craft essence limited /0 over, which by the way, that is essentially a what if story of Shiro, right? Like that one looked like Shiro becoming more mature, right? But that's not really the case. That's essentially a what if Shiro just kind of like really honed on his skills of a what if. Third Ascension is what if Olga just locked in and fucking was able to pop off. So yeah, that is the Third Ascension Olga Murray of what if, as drawn. So the what if concept is, what if Olga Murray was successful, or aka was able to stand on her own, right? To kind of just accomplish things. Right, it's the what if Olga Murray achieved great success as a concept. Noble Phantasm amazing as well, so I hope you all enjoy it. Then the interviewer asked, please talk about the differences that you did for the Second Ascension. Nasu goes, the design basic concept are practically the same, but during you Olga phase and as her enemy, we wanted to make sure that she came in as a space kaiju, a space monster motif. So we added a couple of additional designs here and there to make her look like more of a space monster, and that has been quote unquote additionally updated to more of a different design. 面積を増やして正義感のある見た目に。And then Takeuchi interjects saying that we've added additional clothing layers and here and there and cloth to kind of add more justice-like feeling, right? でも彼女は明るく楽しいキャラクターのそのままなので、so Nasu goes, but she is a fun-loving, happy-go character. And her characteristic hasn't been touched. If you like you Olga Murray, I highly recommend keeping it to the Second Ascension. The interviewer specifically states the fact that you can enjoy in many different ways is the most fantastic part. And then Nasu goes, that's right. The First Ascension is the very serious foreign planet god, right? And the Second Ascension, the you Olga Murray that's always uppity. And last but not least, the Olga Murray that has accomplished great success. The sheer fact that for one character, we created roughly about 3 different character personality. The amount of work was insane. As expected of 10th anniversary, I'm gonna die. Parentheses, lol. Beast という特別な存在をどう扱うかは難しくて、グランドクラスにするかどうかもかなり悩みました。開発チームもさすがに無理だろうと思っていたんですよ。ナスさんがビーストはありえないよと言って終わりだろうと。でも、それは彼女の強い思いを超えて、ユーザーに対して自覚はありません。So it says, yeah, Takeuchi says, Beast is such a special existence. It's also very difficult that how you should treat them. And we definitely coddled our heads when it comes to the grand class system and how we could implement that. Even the development team says this is going to be impossible. Is the very first thought process, and even after a subtle discussion. Everybody thought that Nasu would say it would be impossible for Beast to have such a thing and end the conversation and that'll be over with. But if that is the case, it is not loyal. It is not loyal / it is not fair, and it is not justice. Right? For the Olga fans, aka the users who had strong feelings for Olga / you Olga / foreign god, foreign planet god. And so Nasu says, by the way, I was hiding that thought process while thinking like that in secret, the way to utilize the presidential medal. After all, using that medal, who knows what sort of miracles they can perform. It says Takeuchi interjects saying, yes, during a company meeting and during a quote-unquote discussion, when Nasu specifically talked about this gimmick, everybody came to an understanding. Oh, so that was the medal was for. And Nasu goes, I wonder what you guys were collecting it for in the first place, huh? Parentheses, lol. 何のために集めていると思ったんだ、君たちは。Lol. So Nasu was just like, what did you guys think that you were collecting all 4 pieces for? Question mark. Parentheses, lol. Right, Nasu's doing a little troll in there. A little troll in Nasu. And it's just like, what did you think the medal was for? It obviously felt like it was a welfare gimmick. Obviously. 大統領メダルとアンビーストは様々な一景が一気に回収される瞬間を目の当たりにしているような感じでした。It says Takeuchi ends this video by saying the president medal and the unbeast. It almost feel like a lot of the quote unquote problem was solved in one fell swoop, and I witnessed it in front of my eyes. It was amazing, right? So it's essentially the presidential beast and unbeast felt like all the plot points that they needed to cover got restored in one fell swoop. Because they were thinking about how they were going to grand beast, and people were kind of panicking, and then Nasu's just like, hey, presidential coin, you can unbeast the beast and implement them into a beast class score, which would allow you to make them into a grand beast, grand unbeast, more likely. So not even the devs knew what the medal was for? Yes, it was a Nasu secret special. But that concludes the quote-unquote Olga Murray Ascension interview. Make sure you guys like, comment, and subscribe. And what do you think? What is your favorite Ascension for Olga Murray? Mine's personally 1 and 3 and 2, obviously. Don't get me twisted. I love you, Olga Murray. But I do love Ascension 1 Olga just because she's pretty. And then Ascension 3 Olga is the what if Olga. Essentially very successful Olga that we all wanted. But hey, what do you think? I'll see you guys in the next video. TTFN. Ta-ta for now.